Hi everyone. Welcome to Exam Cracks. This video contains Microsoft Azure Fundamentals Exam AZ-900 questions 101 to 120. Question number 101. This question requires that you evaluate the underlying text to determine if it is correct. Resource groups provide organizations with the ability to manage the compliance of Azure resources across multiple subscriptions. Review the underlying text. If it makes the statement correct, select "No changes needed." If the statement is incorrect, select the answer choice that makes the statement correct. Your options are A. No changes needed. B. Management groups. C. Azure policies. D. Azure App Service Plans. The correct answer is C. Azure policies. Question number 102. Your company plans to migrate to Azure. The company has several departments. All the Azure resources used by each department will be managed by a department administrator. What are two possible techniques to segment Azure for the departments? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Your options are A. Multiple subscriptions. B. Multiple Azure Active Directory directories. C. Multiple regions. D. Multiple resource groups. The correct answers are A. Multiple subscriptions, and D. Multiple resource groups. Question number 103. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Statement A. A single Microsoft account can be used to manage multiple Azure subscriptions. Statement B. Two Azure subscriptions can be merged into a single subscription. Statement C. A company can use resources from multiple subscriptions. The correct answers are Statement A, yes. Statement B, no. Statement C, yes. Question number 104. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. You have several virtual machines in an Azure subscription. You create a new subscription. Your options are: the virtual machines cannot be moved to the new subscription. The virtual machines can be moved to the new subscription. The virtual machines can be moved to the new subscription only if they are all in the same resource group. The virtual machines can be moved to the new subscription only if they run Windows Server 2016. The correct answer is: the virtual machines can be moved to the new subscription. Question number 105. You have an Azure environment that contains multiple Azure virtual machines. You plan to implement a solution that enables the client computers on your on-premises network to communicate to the Azure virtual machines. You need to recommend which Azure resources must be created for the planned solution. Which two Azure resources should you include in the recommendation? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Your options are A. A virtual network gateway. B. A load balancer. C. An application gateway. D. A virtual network. E. A gateway subnet. The correct answers are A. A virtual network gateway, and E. A gateway subnet. Question number 106. You attempt to create several managed Microsoft SQL Server instances in an Azure environment and receive a message that you must increase your Azure subscription limits. What should you do to increase the limits? Your options are A. Create a service health alert. B. Upgrade your support plan. C. Modify an Azure policy. D. Create a new support request. The correct answer is D. Create a new support request. Question number 107. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Statement A. Each Azure subscription can contain multiple account administrators. Statement B. Each Azure subscription can be managed by using a Microsoft account only. Statement C. An Azure resource group contains multiple Azure subscriptions. The correct answers are Statement A, no. Statement B, no. Statement C, no. Question number 108. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Statement A. Availability zones can be implemented in all Azure regions. Statement B. Only virtual machines that run Windows Server can be created in availability zones. Statement C. Availability zones are used to replicate data and applications to multiple regions. The correct answers are Statement A, no. Statement B, no. Statement C, no. Question number 109. You plan to create an Azure virtual machine. You need to identify which storage service must be used to store the unmanaged data disks of the virtual machine. What should you identify? To answer, select the appropriate service in the answer area. Your options are containers, scalable cost-effective storage for unstructured data, or file shares, serverless SMB file shares, or tables, tabular data storage, or queues, effectively scale apps according to traffic. The correct answer is containers, scalable cost-effective storage for unstructured data. Question number 110. Your company plans to move several servers to Azure. The company's compliance policy states that a server named FinServer must be on a separate network segment. You are evaluating which Azure services can be used to meet the compliance policy requirements. Which Azure solution should you recommend? Your options are A resource group for FinServer and another resource group for all the other servers. B. A virtual network for FinServer and another virtual network for all the other servers. C. A VPN for FinServer and a virtual network gateway for each other server. D. One resource group for all the servers and a resource lock for FinServer. The correct answer is B. A virtual network for FinServer and another virtual network for all the other servers. Question number 111. You plan to map a network drive from several computers that run Windows 10 to Azure storage. You need to create a storage solution in Azure for the planned mapped drive. What should you create? Your options are A. An Azure SQL database. B. A virtual machine data disk. C. A file service in a storage account. D. A blob service in a storage account. The correct answer is C. A file service in a storage account. Question number 112. You plan to implement an Azure database solution. You need to implement a database solution that meets the following requirements. Can add data concurrently from multiple regions. Can store JSON documents. Which database service should you deploy? To answer, select the appropriate service in the answer area. Your options are Azure Cosmos DB, SQL databases, Azure Database for MySQL servers, Azure Database for PostgreSQL servers, Azure Database for MariaDB servers, SQL servers, SQL data warehouses, Azure Database migration services, Azure Cache for Redis, SQL Server Stretch databases, data factories, SQL Elastic Pools, virtual clusters, managed databases, Elastic Job Agents, or SQL managed instances. The correct answer is Azure Cosmos DB. Question number 113. Your company plans to start using Azure and will migrate all its network resources to Azure. You need to start the planning process by exploring Azure. What should you create first? Your options are A. A subscription. B. A resource group. C. A virtual network. D. A management group. The correct answer is A. A subscription. Question number 114. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Statement A. All the Azure resources deployed to a resource group must use the same Azure region. Statement B. If you assign a tag to a resource group, all the Azure resources in that resource group are assigned to the same tag. Statement C. If you assign permissions for a user to manage a resource group, the user can manage all the Azure resources in that resource group. The correct answers are Statement A, no. Statement B, no. Statement C, yes. Question number 115. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Data that is stored in the archive access tier of an Azure storage account. Your options are, can be accessed at any time by using azcopy.exe. Can only be read by using Azure Backup. Must be restored before the data can be accessed. Or must be rehydrated before the data can be accessed. The correct answer is, must be rehydrated before the data can be accessed. Question number 116. You plan to deploy a critical line of business application to Azure. The application will run on an Azure virtual machine. You need to recommend a deployment solution for the application. The solution must provide a guaranteed availability of 99.99%. What is the minimum number of virtual machines and the minimum number of availability zones you should recommend for the deployment? To answer, select the appropriate options in the answer area. Your options for minimum number of virtual machines are 1, 2, or 3, and your options for minimum number of availability zones are also 1, 2, or 3. The correct answers are minimum number of virtual machines, 2, and minimum number of availability zones, 2. Question number 117. Which Azure service should you use to collect events from multiple resources into a centralized repository? Your options are A. Azure Event Hubs, B. Azure Analysis Services, C. Azure Monitor, D. Azure Stream Analytics. The correct answer is A. Azure Event Hubs. Question number 118. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. An availability zone in Azure has physically separate locations. Your options are across 2 continents, within a single Azure region, within multiple Azure regions, or within a single Azure data center. The correct answer is within a single Azure region. Question number 119. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Statement A. Data that is stored in an Azure storage account automatically has at least 3 copies. Statement B. All data that is copied to an Azure storage account is backed up automatically to another Azure data center. Statement C. An Azure storage account can contain up to 2 terabytes of data and up to 1 million files. The correct answers are Statement A, yes. Statement B, no. Statement C, no. Question number 120. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Statement A. If you have Azure resources deployed to every region, you can implement availability zones in all the regions. Statement B. Only virtual machines that run Windows Server can be created in availability zones. Statement C. Availability zones are used to replicate data and applications to multiple regions. The correct answers are Statement A, no. Statement B, no. Statement C, no. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. If it is useful, please do go ahead and like, comment and share the video. If you have not subscribed the channel yet, please subscribe and hit the bell icon below to get notified of my new videos. Take care until we meet next time.